So one idea is that I can play no, that doesn't even make much sense. I was thinking about like rook A to C8 after rook C7,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm pretty sure he can just take the queen. I take on C1 with check,
Mm-hmm.
bishop F1.
Uh-huh.
Oh, okay, I see something now. Then
Okay.
I take back the rook with the knight, or actually no, hold on, let's see. With a bishop.
Mm-hmm.
His knight still has to move.
But his knight can come to G2, yeah?
Oh, yeah, that is another thing. If he goes to G2, then there's no bishop H3 even. G5, rook C7, rook A, C8. He can also just take my rook.
Actually,
He can
actually,
play rook.
the variation that you mentioned was all correct. Uh, till you decided to pick up White's rook. So instead of picking up White's rook, you can think of something else as well.
I take the knight on F4.
Yeah, I think that's much better. Yeah, I mean, then Bishop H3 is anyway a threat, and the D7
Rook
rook
is
is still
hanging.
hanging, right?
So basically, I got a rook and knight for the queen, and I'm about to play bishop H3, and his rook on D7 is hanging. Correct?
Yeah, so you
That would be the
might get
situation.
yeah, you might get yet another rook. So it will be like two rooks and a knight for the queen.
Mm,
That should be good enough, I think. So
right. So he'll have to.
it's forced. Rook C8
Mhm.
comes. So rook D7, rook C1, bishop F1, and this is the intermediary move, yeah, you can say. I don't know how
Mm,
to stop these two threats at the same time.
man, yeah, that's nice. And even if F3 type of stuff happens, I still have E3
E3, yeah.
to
I mean,
block
it's
anything.
yeah. I mean, even after all this thing, it's still difficult to get out of the mating threat. I mean, even if you have like one extra move, it's still
Yeah.
not easy. So probably GF4 he has to play defending on H3. But I think we just take on D7. Yeah, we have like two rooks and a knight for the queen. That should be more than enough.
Yeah.
And still
And he
king.
still can't take on B7, right? Because I still have
Yeah,
bishop
bishop
H3.
H3. Yeah. So this is actually a position which you can somehow call it theoretical as well. I kind of gave both the games, and you can see how White is getting to the position completely unforced and is completely losing right after he gets there. So the game usually continues like this, and it's looks like a pretty decent normal variation, yeah, in the English opening,
Mm-hmm.
and everything is pretty standard and normal, and this position looks completely equal. So queen b3, castles, bishop f5. And this is a position where the most obvious looking move is actually a blunder with rook fc1. So now you are already into the mess of queen d7, and you are forced to play knight f4, and then g5 comes, which gives us the position.
Why is rook c1 the most obvious and not knight f4 attacking the d5 pawn?
D5 pawn is not attacked, so knight f4
Oh,
anyway will run into g5. Yeah. So rook f c1 is the most obvious move because like it's an open file and you double up the rooks, right?
sure. Yeah.
Like from a very amateur or novice point of view, I would say that rook fc1 is the most, or at least it will be the first move that every player will consider here in this position. So either queen b7 or rook fc1.
I would already start feeling uneasy about that knight on h3. That knight on h3 usually doesn't belong there in this kind of situations.
Yes, actually true. So, I mean, normally in this opening, white does play the knight to h3, but not for so long. So,
Yeah,
I think we should already start f3 here and, get ready to come back.
yeah. Yeah, I can see the point that you're making. It seems like you're
Yes.
naturally falling into it.
Yeah, exactly. But it's just a position, and it's not just one game. Multiple games have been played till this position. So you can actually see, um, even in this position, it's like so many games which are mentioned here, which have been played. The best of it is this guy who is playing white here, Byron Casper. So I have actually played with him once in Poland,
Mm-hmm.
and it's pretty strong guy. I mean, you can consider him like one of the good players in Poland, very strong as well. Also made the same mistake, and he's like 2650 and something like that.
Oh wow.
So he's just lost after this. So it's like a situation where you have no recovery after this getting into this position. So kept on sacrificing the queen for a long time. Okay, just queen b5, queen b2. Black is just up a piece and there is no compensation at all.
Mm,
So I
yeah.
saw the same thing happened in this one as well. And again, it's the same position they managed to get. And again, the same tactics happen here. So here also queen b7, and okay, pretty much the same thing you can say.
Mm,
And come to think of it, this happens like from a very common opening. So basically, this position is played multiple times, and you can already see a knight h3 here is kind of the top move as well.
mm-hmm.
So I also knew about it, this knight h3 move. But bishop f6 is something which I don't understand. Usually in this position, I think coming back to here and then playing f3 makes more sense. It's
Yeah.
equal, but I think we should come back. Bishop f6, I did not like so much. Computer's top choice anyway is bishop f6 here, which was a bit surprising for me. But yeah, here I think castle is, as you can see, correct move strategically. Computer did not like castle as well. And queen b3, bishop f5, f3 seems to be the only move. You can see the huge dip in advantage here now. It's -4 all of a sudden.
Yeah.
So, as I said, the most obvious move and a very common theory, uh, which leads to a completely lost position.
Hmm.
Okay, we
Yeah.
can go for the next one, Rafi. I hope this position is clear.
Okay. Yeah. Makes sense.
This is a very nice one. This is also about disrupting Black's coordination and taking advantage of a move order trick as well.
Okay.
Okay.
I haven't found anything yet, but I'll tell you the ideas that I have so
Sure.
far. So I want to get control of E7 with either
Okay.
my rook or my knight, or get his knight on F6 to move, something like that. If I could do that, then I can, um, somehow maybe make something happen. The first moves I looked at are obviously all the discovered attacks. So knight F5 I looked at, but I believe he can play a multitude of things, one of which is queen E6 against that. I think he can even play queen C5. So didn't see anything with that. Knight C6, I believe he just has queen takes C6. Knight takes B5, queen takes B5, and hard to see a follow-up to that. I'm not seeing anything. knight b3, knight e2, both, I believe, at the very least, he can just respond with queen e6, but I think he can just take the knight as well on b3. Oh no, he can't take the knight. I'm sorry, the queen is hanging, so he'll have to play queen e6.
Okay.
So it's none of those moves. If I capture on f6, knight takes back, and again, I don't see the follow-up. If I take, he takes, then I try one of those knight discoveries. I think he has a similar response he can give. So there's a check on a3. I did notice that.
Important,
And
actually.
yeah,
So basically, this will solve at least one problem that if you get to this variation, queen a3 comes, and then knight e7 will happen. So at least one of your problems is solved. I mean, we will obviously get to the drawbacks of knight f5 right now. So knight f5 should be good enough in this position. So queen e6, queen c6, and queen c5, yeah, three options black has. If he goes to c6, I think, I mean, either we can use something like this, knight e7, although queen c5 is still an option, or we can also use queen e7 and knight d6. But here, the knight is somehow, yeah, guarding the square, right?
yeah.
Okay. So coming back to this position, so with knight f5, I think black's still, I mean, the safest option for black will be still to play queen c5.
Mm.
So here with queen c5, I think, I mean, we don't have any ways to stop the exchange. So probably we can try for one variation like this. But here also, I think right on time, black is able to defend, yeah, everything.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure if this should be the right way to proceed as well. But here's the trick. I mean, how to stop queen c5, yeah? That's the first move actually. So here white uses the move order trick to actually change the characteristic of the position. So basically white starts with bishop f6, knight f6, and now he tries to use the same knight f5 position because I mean, according to white, here the presence of the bishop on h4 and another knight on e8 wasn't doing much in the position. I mean, yeah, white had the double bishop advantage, but it wasn't helping in any other way. So now you have to figure out if after knight f5, some things have changed or not. So for queen e6, I think nothing changed. Yeah, it's just the same thing, queen a3.
Yeah.
But what about queen c5 and queen c6? Did anything change?
Yeah, so then that variation you can play knight d6 now. Right?
Yes,
So
exactly.
queen e7, king over, and then knight d6 now. So in this position, what is black gonna play? Queen c5, right?
Yeah, queen c5 or queen c6 because we already saw that queen
Uh,
e6, queen a3 is there.
so if queen c6, then I believe queen e7, check king g8, then knight d6.
Knight d6 and should be game over, yeah, for black.
Yeah, because I'm hitting rook and f7 pawn.
Rook, bishop, and f7 pawn. It's just too much.
Hmm. And
Yes.
if queen c5, then I can take, rook takes, rook d8 check, knight e8. Hold on. Knight d6, bishop c6. Queen c5, then, oh, if queen c5, then I have rook d8 check first.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah. So first rook d8, yeah.
Yes, knight e8.
Mm-hmm.
Then queen takes queen, rook takes queen. Then
No, that will be the same position. So, I mean, that will be the same position as we start with queen takes queen, rook takes queen, rook d8. So no need to go into queen takes queen for sure.
right. So queen c5, rook d8, knight e8. Then wait. In that scenario, I can just take the knight on e8. Rook takes e8.
Yeah, just rook e8, yeah, and it's the same thing pretty much.
Mm-hmm.
That's basically it. So in this position, queen c5, queen c6, queen e6, none of the moves are working. So queen c5 just rook d8, deflection, and it was necessary to get this check, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's why bishop f6 was essential, and queen c6, of course, check, and knight d6. I think it's, I
If
mean,
he, yeah, he can't play
like,
rook f8 because the bishop is hanging.
yeah. So it's just too many things are hanging, yeah, at the same time.
Yeah.
So that's why. So this is you. Obviously, knight f5 is the first move that should come. And the trick is to calculate knight f5, understand why knight f5 is not working, and then play bishop f6 to make knight f5 work.
Mm,
So as I said, I mean, the solution, once you know the solution, it's pretty easy, but the procedure is slightly difficult, yeah?
yes.
Okay, all right. We'll try one more, Rafi, okay? And let's see for this one. Okay, it's White's turn. This is fairly straightforward, by the way.
Okay. So this one, I think I have it.
Okay.
I think this is a queen trap
Yeah,
situation
where?
where
How?
we can go for rook e4.
Okay.
And after this rook e4, basically he doesn't really have much options. If queen a3, then I believe rook b8
Rook B,
and rook b8, yes.
Queen C1.
Rook takes e8 check.
Ah, Queen C1 will be a check. Yeah, your rook has gone to E4.
Oh, dang. Yeah. Hmm. I mean, I see the overall situation where there's a tactic involving knight, bishop d5 and knight e7, followed by a queen back rank check.
Mm-hmm.
But the problem is that he can come back with rook e8 every time and block it.
Yes. So very, very nice. This is the key point actually. How exactly do you prevent rook E8 from happening? So how to break that coordination? That's the solution anyway.
Hmm. Hmm. Oh, okay, I see. I think I understand now. Okay, so I have it now. So basically, I'm gonna start with bishop d5 first.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so rook takes d5. Then I'm gonna play rook b4,
Okay, very nice. Queen A2 is forced.
and yeah, so he's gonna have to move the queen, I think. I don't think he has any other attacks he can make on me.
Mm-hmm. Queen A2 is
Right.
forced.
Queen a2 is forced. Then knight takes
Then
e7
I did.
works
Yes. So very nice.
because
So
if
so I figured out
yeah,
one thing, Rafi, that you spotted this tactics the first, right? That the knight E7 thing should work.
yeah,
Okay, so you just rejected it because you thought the queen is defending, so the rook will go back, yeah, eventually.
right.
Okay, so the key was to here disrupt the coordination with rook b4. And after queen a2, now you go knight e7. It's a fork. If he takes, check, and now rook e8 is possible. So bishop
Mm-hmm.
f8, and now I'm pretty sure we should go queen c8, yeah, and that should be it, I think.
Yes. Queen h6 also works too, right? Or no?
Think it does as well. I mean, queen h6, rook e8, queen a3. So he will give up the exchange anyway.
Mm,
I
okay.
mean, pretty much the same in both the variations. I think queen c8,
Mm-hmm.
rook e8 takes queen a3, but this should be losing, yeah, after e6
Mm-hmm.
or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, black is just lost. Okay, nice. This one was pretty good. So I hope, Rafi, you already understood, yeah, the things that we are supposed to do. I mean, even after opening and the strategical tasks, the game will eventually, come down to such a point, right, where these will mainly help you to win games.
Mm,
So I think our opening part will still be much better and stable once we sort out the games.
mm-hmm.
But even after that, we simultaneously need to work on these things. I mean, at least, side by side. Yeah.
Right. Okay.
Ignoring this also can be slightly harmful, let's say. I mean,
Yeah,
then
that's
then
true.
the things will be like you will be doing everything okay in the beginning, and even you will keep up messing good winning positions because of lack of calculation and stuff.
Mm, I
Okay.
see.
Okay. Would you like to try one more?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, let's do it. Let's go for this one. So
Okay.
white to play.
This looks like a Sicilian, what is it called? Like the Richard Rouser or something like that variation.
I don't think it's Sicilian. I just think it's Grunfeld, I guess. I mean, in the Sicilian, the C
Uh,
pawn would move somewhere, right?
oh, right, that's true. Yeah.
I actually think it's a Grunfeld where e4, knight f6, c4, g6, and this f3 line is played. So
Yeah.
without the knight c3 one, yeah. So I think
Mm.
that one.
Okay, so still nothing, but I'll give you my ideas so far.
Okay.
I have been considering this knight d5 idea, but I'm not able to find anything in
Mm-hmm.
response to just queen c6 check.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I don't know, maybe I'll play king b1, and then he can just uh
But knight d5, why he will not take knight d5?
if he takes it with his knight, then maybe I can try bishop takes d4.
Bishop d4.
Then I'll play queen takes d4, and then I guess he can then play knight f6 or something, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's another thing. The other thing I've been trying to accomplish is something with, like, if I play bishop h6, he's not gonna want to trade bishops with me, right? So maybe he tries bishop h8, for example.
Mm-hmm.
The other idea that I had is maybe I can try to like bring my queen in like with a threatening bishop move. So like just hypothetically speaking, bishop h6, bishop h8, bishop f8, something like that, and then I try to play queen h6. But again, I'm not seeing anything like he can just play
And
rook takes like
the
this.
the thing is, there is something much simpler and much more forcing as well. Now, what about bishop d4?
Okay, let's just say he plays queen d4.
Queen d4, we just move away, yeah? Queen e1.
Oh wow, it's a back rank issue.
Mm-hmm.
D4. Hmm. Okay, so bishop takes d4, obviously only move.
And now we go queen f6.
So the threat is to play queen h7, king f8, then what? Like say black did nothing.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
What are
So
we
this is
doing?
actually the thing is the threat is knight e2 anyway. But I get your point. So you wanted to say that basically even after this, there is no checkmate, right? Which
Right.
is which is true. I mean, there isn't really any checkmate, okay? But okay, I'm gonna play the moves first. So the variation they're recommending is queen d6 because if you play any random stuff, yeah, let's say a5 or let's say c6, something like this, then I think knight e2 comes. Then there,
Let's just say, you played c5 instead.
okay, let's just say he plays c5 instead, actually. So here they're saying that queen h7. I mean, this is the threat anyway in the game. King f8 and rook d4.
Okay, queen d4. Oh wow, the other rook.
The other rook hangs here.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, there is no defense also. So bishop d4, queen d4, just queen e1 finishes off the game. I mean, this rook is still the problem. And bishop
Mm-hmm.
d4, queen h6. So the variation they're giving is queen to d6, so that if knight e2 happens, you would at least have queen f6. But here the point is white still goes queen h7 and rook d4
Mm-hmm.
and queen h8. And if you play queen f4 in this position, I think white just plays king b1. So still no rook b4. Yeah, queen h8 is a mate threat.
Uh,
So somehow very interesting. But yeah, this was the coordination point. That this bishop is blocking the coordination. Else, black
yeah.
was fine. So they have specifically mentioned it that in this position, it will be very obvious for white to miss the solution because nobody wants to exchange this bishop for this knight. Yeah, everybody
Right.
knows if this bishop is on g7, there won't be a checkmate, which is true for all the positions. But when the pieces are coordinated, if the pieces are not
Yes.
coordinated, all other rules they get like invalid at the same time, and you have to start calculation. But yes, you are right. It's easy to start with bishop h6. This is what every player does in the position. And bishop d4 is obviously not something which anyone wants to play. But yeah, after
Mm.
some time, they realize that this is the solution.
So let me ask you a question. You mentioned, on the topic of piece uncoordination, what would be the operational definition of uncoordinated pieces? How
Piece
can I look at a position and say, point to it and say, okay, those pieces are not coordinated.
So it is a bit difficult to define them if the pieces are already developed. But if they are not developed, that's the first sign of discoordinated. Yeah, we actually saw a couple
Okay.
of positions, right? The first one I think we also saw. So you can see, yeah, there is lack of development, right?
Mm-hmm.
So lack of development means pieces are not connected with each other. So that's obviously discoordination. The
Mm,
This one also I think is the same. I mean, it was of the same essence, yeah, that it's discoordinated. The bishop is not developed. Like anything which is slightly abnormal and not usual as compared to with the principle of chess openings. So
okay,
pieces are not
gotcha.
developed. But also, I would tell you, this is also a sign of discoordination, by the way. Oops, I'm sorry. Um, so it was the Rajabov game. Yeah, this is also a sign of discoordination. So you can see this is a position where black's pieces are, I mean, they're not attacked, but they're not defended as well.
Yeah.
So this is another sign of, like something might happen. So
Like unprotected pieces.
unprotected pieces, yes. And
Okay.
also, if we consider the concept of tactical motives, you can see that D5, G8, it's like a tactical motive, something might happen
Yeah.
on E7. B6 is also another square. If white manages to get to B6 with the knight, he's forking a lot of pieces. So
Mm,
these are all signs of uncoordinated pieces. We call them like scattered pieces. So we call if
mm,
black has a lot of scattered pieces, then some sort of a tactics might come up. This one is slightly strange. I mean, I don't think we can define it, this position. But yeah, this is a trapped piece, right? So I think that's the only thing you can say here.
mm, yeah.
But apart from that, I think yeah, rest of the positions, it's all about. I mean, if you actually see, it's either like you can see in this position, one rook not in the game, right?
Yeah.
So if the rook was somehow in the game, like at least c1, d1, e1, then this knight e4 tactics won't work. At least white will have some defense on the second rank.
Mm,
So this one guy who is always like the odd one out, yeah. So that's a good sign of disconnection. Here also you can see very nice coordination. Everything is defended and working together. But
mhm.
queen against the king, always a big problem, right? Like there should be some sort of a prophylaxis against it. And the second one is X-ray attack on the bishop. So only the bishop is like you can say slightly away from the pieces. And that's how the game ends. Yeah, just play knight g5 using this, and if the queen comes to g5, f4 happens.
So in most of these positions, the common theme seems to be to find the most forcing sequence first.
Yes.
Like what are the moves that I can play where black only has one reply or two replies at most,
Hmm.
that to save the game, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
definitely. Because also the fact that uncoordinated pieces does not mean we have forever to do the tactics. Yeah, we have to act fast, basically. I mean, if we don't, then he kind of saves his position,
Yeah. Okay.
which was, I think, very clearly visible in this one. Like, the moment black played f6, so he's basically expecting knight f3, yeah, and castle, and the
Hmm.
position is fine for black.
Yeah.
But all of a sudden, queen a7 comes, and okay, black's coordination is completely broken.
Yeah.
This is exactly what we are trying to solve, and this happens in, I mean, all of our games. So it's a very common thing. I mean, you can act, I mean, you'll be actually surprised. So this game was between, I think, Hikaru and Caruana, if I'm not wrong. Yes, so Hikaru and Caruana. So
Mm,
even you can say that Fabiano Caruana had a position where he was not so well coordinated. Yeah.
yeah.
So yeah, but I think we can make a jump from this topic. I think you already have an idea of what we are supposed to do here.
Yeah.
So I mean, in the meantime, I will be obviously adding more positions here for you just to solve, and maybe you can look at some of these positions with your playing partner and training partner as well.
Okay. How many
Even
have do you have in there right now?
I
16
think
or
we have
17
like
of them?
five more, but I'll
Okay.
just keep on adding on my free time more and more positions. So that
Sure.
at least one study will be completely ready with, like, for example, you want to like do something on calculation. Yeah, you don't have to go looking for material. This will be the place. Just you can come and calculate all the positions. As you can see, 3, 4, 5 moves. Game like
Yeah.
situation. It's not like some creative positions. So
Right.
enough. And if there will be any difficult positions, of course, I'll be giving it with the solution so that at least you can look at it and have an idea that, okay, these were the things which were available. So
Yeah.
it should not
Good
be
idea.
difficult. Yeah.
My calculation has definitely fallen recently. I think that's being reflected in my online
Yeah.
playing as well.
Yeah.
Like I am not calculating well right now at all. I'm losing no games out of the opening.
Mhm.
That's a good thing, but I am losing to some very basic tactics all the time.
Yeah, because the problem was, so you already have a break with your coach who was looking at
Yeah.
the game points. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
That plus I haven't played any chess. I
and
haven't
yeah,
played
that's
since
that's the second
October.
one. You have not got any over the board action. So these two
Yeah.
things definitely, I mean, the first thing actually, these two reasons will affect, that is the calculation.
Yeah.
So,
I'm playing in May for sure. There's a tournament that came up in my city.
okay.
Um Bluff City Open, which will be a pretty decently strong tournament. I mean, there'll be some couple of masters and stuff. So I'll have some games to show you
Okay.
and by the end of May for sure.
Okay. That's good. That's good. Nice. Okay. We will, I mean, definitely will think of and discuss something what to do with your middle game as well. I mean, till the point where you find another coach as well. So it's kind of, yeah. I mean, I think the previous coach was pretty good. I mean, it's just with Pradeep, I think it didn't work out. Yeah.
Yeah, no, he was a good coach. I mean, like I said, I took a few lessons with him, and he was very good at. He actually showed me these really nice geometries involving the knight,
Hmm.
which like helped me to understand better how the knight works and things like that. So I really enjoyed them. Like we did a lot of actually endgame work when I worked with him.
Hmm.
I only took like I don't know 6 classes from him,
Hmm.
but yeah, nothing from him still. I still followed up again and no response.
Yeah, it's kind of strange, but yeah. Okay. Anyway, man,
Good
I
deal,
think,
man.
yeah, I think we can probably